Hello, everyone. I'm hoping you are having a great day and that you're ready for some crafting. I have an exciting, I guess I should say, or um, tutorial for you. It's not really a tutorial, but a demonstration, I guess I would say, for you tonight. And it is using the Hello Harvest stamp set. So I will show that to you. It's Hello Harvest, and we'll be using this pumpkin in this stamp set, and then the rustic pumpkin dies, and we will be using the die from this set, and also one of those little curlicues with mossy green or mossy meadow cardstock. So let's get started. For the sake of time, I have already stamped my pumpkin, and these are some pumpkins here that I was working on earlier, and I will be showing you those as we go along. But what I'm trying to do is make a card using Cajun Craze as the background, and then we will have this DSP. Now this DSP is Stampin' Up, of course, and let's see, it's the rustic. Well, it is misplaced. Here we go. It is Rustic Harvest, and it's the 12 by 12. And these are the papers. Now, I have used this and I've cut it apart. This is one of the sheets, and then the back. These are gorgeous papers. And this sheet will be used in front and back. And then this one I love with that pattern. Then we have this pattern with this gorgeous mums, I suppose, on here. And this one is a repeat. Here are some fall leaves and acorns in black. But on the other side, you have this gorgeous yellow pattern. And then this one is one of my favorites. It has the swirls like the curlicue, the greenery on the pumpkin stem. It mimics that, and then the back is this. Sort of looks like argyle. So these are gorgeous papers to use for fall, which is exactly what I'm trying to do by making this card. Now, I am trying to build my colors up, and so they will look like this rustic Cajun Craze color in here. Now the shape of our pumpkin is different. If you'll look at the shape of this, it's not squatty like this one is. And we're seeing the top of this pumpkin, but here we're seeing the side of the pumpkin. So your pumpkin's going to look different. It's a different shape of pumpkin. This is a bigger pumpkin, and this is one of those cute little squatty ones. So I'm going to show you how to build the color up so it will look similar to this with some of this highlighting in there. I can show you some of the other pumpkins that I did. I really played around with this and made quite a few, trying to get just the right combination of colors to do it. So let me show you how I've done this so you will be able to do it too. Okay, I'll slide this to the side. first of all, what I did is I took my Cajun Craze. I sharpened my pencils, and since then this point has worn down a bit, but it will still work. So I'm going to go over these lines that are showing the dips, I guess I should say, the indentions in this pumpkin. And I am going to go and just trace over each line. Now, I did stamp this with StazOn ink because it will run on the other papers and tear that paper. The paper becomes too saturated. So the StazOn ink will hold up much better. And this holds up very well on the shimmery white cardstock. It holds up well on the thick cardstock. You can do a lot more with it when you're creating your layers. Now I'm also going around the bottom here. And I am going to go over each of these lines and also making sure I get up here and along the outside. Okay, so I've done that with the Cajun Craze. Now these watercolor pencils come from, this is the first pack, Stampin' Up's first pack that they put out. And it has all these colors in it, and the ones we're using out of here are the early espresso, the pumpkin pie, and the calypso coral. This set is the watercolor pencils assortment too, and it has the Cajun Craze that we'll be using and the cherry cobbler. Okay, so now I've gotten my Cajun Craze down. I'm going to come back with the cherry cobbler just around the dark to darken it so it will show how it's curving. Now this red cherry cobbler is a deep color, and it will help build up the orangey color and give it that depth and that deep color that is on this paper right here. The Cajun Craze does not quite do it on its own, so I'm going to go along each of these, and I'm not going all the way up because I'm just wanting to show the curve in that pumpkin. And two, you don't have to put a lot because this goes a long way, and I'll show you. And I'm doing it around the bottom, just right here, just a bit to show the curve there. And the same here. Okay, now I'm going to use pumpkin pie, and I'm going to start coloring. And when I'm coloring, I'm doing a flicking motion like this. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. And I'm laying down color side, just right, but one stroke right beside the next, so it will look even. And I'm going to leave a little bit of white here. And this takes time, and you really can't rush it. And you just need to get in the zone and enjoy it. Now the wonderful thing about these watercolor pencils is that you can use these and then not add the water to it, and use it as a colored pencil. And it blends so beautifully. It has this buttery feel to it as you put it down. And see how I just left a little bit right here. We just want to show some highlights. And when I'm at the bottom, I'm flicking upward. And we don't want quite as much highlighting here on these segments on the sides, the very far bit, because these half of this is really on the other side, and we don't want to make it appear that it's, I don't know, we just want to make sure that it looks balanced and realistic. Okay, so what I've done now is I have put my color down. Now I went off right here, and I have got my little Magic Faber-Castell eraser. And then I got rid of that. So now we're in the same stage that we were in when I did this one before. Now what we're going to do up here with the stem is take the early espresso, and we're going to color those over those dotted lines, but nothing more. If you notice, and I just noticed this, that these pencils have numbers on them. So I am imagining that Stampin' Up! Is going to start maybe one day selling these individually so you can get the ones you want. Wouldn't that be nice? That's just a thought I had. Okay, so now we've got an orange pumpkin. I'm going to take my brown and I'm going to lightly go over this. And this will darken this a bit. I'm doing just a bit here to show shadowing. And just a little bit along the edges here. Okay, now you don't need a lot. And then I'm going to come back with my Cajun Craze, and I'm going to go back over all of this. Still flicking. I want you to see though, see how this is blending right here. These colors just blend so beautifully. Now you could continue doing this and build it up to the color that you want and not use the water at all. Okay, now I think we're ready for our water. To make sure that I've filled in those gaps. All right, here we go. Now I'm using a small brush on this, and you need just a bit of water. I see how I've done that, and you're going to keep dabbing that, and I'm going to be very, very careful as I brush down here. Now I want to show you. You see how this color went there? What we can do is lift some of this out, because I still want that little streak right there. And then that little color I'll brush back up. Now you can move this color around, like this red right here. I can move this red up. I can move it over like this. I can get rid of it if I wanted to, but I want it there. We need it for that depth color. And I've sort of colored that in there because even though it is white, white, white here, that's not the way our pumpkin would look. Or this kind of pumpkin would look. We're going to give it those highlights, but I don't think we need to do it quite that bright. And I dab off like this red. I'm going to dab off some of that. I don't need quite that much. And then it just sort of all blends together to create this beautiful pumpkin. Now, I'm not letting that color go all the way over here because I want to keep that highlight. So with your water, you can lift that out. I do want you to know that this is being recorded and not live. Because I have a medical procedure, and I didn't want you to miss what I had to do here with this pumpkin. I definitely wanted to share it, so that's why it's recorded and you are getting a replay. But please leave your comments because I will be watching, and hopefully I can communicate with you. Okay. You see how I can go back and pull this color over? It's really orangey over here, and I can pull some of that color over here. Okay. Now, let's lift some of that out. Now you see, this segment right here is so light that you really are not seeing much of that highlight. But I'll show you what we'll do to sort of make that a bit more obvious. Now what we got to do is just let this dry. And I could use my heat tool to do that, but it dries so quickly that you don't need to do that. Now if I continue to go over this with my water, it would start wearing the fibers down, and you get these little rubby things that stick up and just will not cooperate. So the surface of your paper has been marred, I guess I should say. It's getting there. It's almost. What I did is I had started to leave this one where I could go right to it and start showing you this next step. But here we are with this one though, and it's pretty much the same. So I'm going to show you here. I'm going to get my Cajun Craze watercolor. Now I'm just going to flick this color back over this. Now you see, this is very light and it does not have the depth of color that has. So that's why I'm using this Cajun Craze. My sister could probably give me a lot of hints about what I'm doing because she is an art major. And she's probably going to see this and start going, oh, no, 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 don't do that. But hopefully she'll see what I've done and maybe she'll think it's good. Okay, I think that is looking pretty good. Now, to show you how this segment right here was so washed out that that highlight really was not showing. But when you go back over it with this Cajun Craze, it really starts to show up because you're building your colors up. Okay, see how it's looking. Well, it's getting there. And we could continue and this layer. The more you go over it, it becomes burnished, where the colors are really intense. But what you do when you're burnishing is that you're rubbing down the fibers of the paper, and that's not where you want to go as an artist, but as considering what we're doing, it's really not bad. Fill in these little places here. Okay, now I'm thinking that that's good. Now I can leave it just like this, or I can go over here like I did with this one and use water painters again. Do you see the difference? Now, what you have to decide is which one do you like best with the pumpkin here. Now, the color here is not as intense as here. You could continue to build that up using your Cajun Craze. And it would get that intensity of color. It just depends on how much you want to do that. And if you want it that dark, actually. The other thing I'm going to show you right now is we want to show the curve of the pumpkin. So I'm using an early espresso, and I'm going to go just right here around the bottom and up each segment just a bit. To make sure that this sort of is enhanced enough to show the curvature of this pumpkin. Then I'm going to come to the top and do the same thing, not going down all the way. Now, if you get your streaks too brown, you can always go over it again with your, not your red, your rustic brown, or even your pumpkin pie. The pumpkin pie is not bad to use to go back over to fill in any kind of spots or to blend these colors together. It fills in all of these little places. And it just blends and smooths these colors out. Okay, there we go. We got a pumpkin to use with the rustic harvest. Now, what I did is I used the 5.5 by 8.5 and scored it at 4 1/4. And this is cut 5 1/4 by 4. Then I was going to put, let's see how we did this. Yes, this goes here with this. And then this layer is the same width. It's 4 inches with this on top, halfway. I then cut a square 2.5 by 2.5, so that was 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I placed it on diagonally like this, and then put my pumpkin right in the middle. I then cut out the little curlicue from the mossy meadow, and I placed it here like that. I used a stamp, and I had that here, stamp, which says grateful, and it came from, well, go, the seasonal, right here, grateful, sparkle of the season. And I cut it out with the, where is that? Tasteful Label dies. That's what it is. Tasteful Label dies. And that seems to have skipped the country. I had it right here. It is laying over here, just ready for me to use. Tasteful Label dies, and this is what they look like. And this is the one that I used right here. It fits perfectly. So I cut that out. Then I used my matte black dot embellishments, and I put 3 right here. And here is the card that I made. On the inside, I put Happy Thanksgiving, and I cut out a pumpkin from this paper that we used. And then on the back, there was a strip laying around, so I just laid it up here and glued it down to give it a little bit of interest. Then on the back of my envelope, I used the back of this paper, which matches this, and I glued it down and cut around so I had a decorated envelope. So here is the card and envelope finished. So that is what I wanted to share with you today, and I wanted to make sure that you knew how to work with the water painters and the watercolor pencils, so you would know that you can use the watercolor pencils as coloring pencils instead of just using water with it, or you can do a combination, which is what we did. So I hope that you gain some insight from this and that you will make some gorgeous pumpkins. I had fun doing it, practicing and making all of these pumpkins, so I'll be making a lot of cards with pumpkins now. I do want to say that if you need a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator and help you in any way that I can with your Stampin' Up! Journey. I would love to be able to send you a catalog if you would like that. All you have to do is contact me at cindyscreativecards@gmail.com, and I will send one out free to you, both the mini holiday catalog and the annual catalog. I do want you to know that there are a lot of new things going on in Stampin' Up! Right now, so we're going to be having a lot of promotions. There are some new kits out that I will be sharing with you, and I'm also sharing with my subscribers free gifts, tutorials of Christmas cards at the moment, but there will be more to come in the weeks ahead. So with the 12 weeks of Christmas each week, my subscribers are getting a free tutorial to make and help with making their projects for Christmas. So please subscribe. You will find the subscription box on my Facebook page at the very top, or you can go to my blog and subscribe there. And that's where you also can join if you're interested in that. Stampin' Up! Has an amazing offer right now, which I've never seen before, where normally you get $125 of product for $99. Right now in October, you can get $155 of product for $99. It is a real deal. So if you are interested or ever thought about joining, now would be the time. You can join on my blog page or contact me, and I will help you do that. I would love to have you as a team member and be one of Cindy's creative stampers. We do a lot of things together. We have fun. we learn, we share, and that is what it's all about. That's what makes stamping fun. So I hope that you continue on your Stampin' Up! Journey, whatever you choose and want it to be. And in the meanwhile, I'd like for you to dream, create, and share. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.